All right, so hey guys, I'm Valentine. This is
Candido Torres, hi.
and today we're going to be talking about mainly focusing on how to handle rejection, how to be comfortable in your own skin, how to market yourself to the right people. Things that we are in our kind of journey right now where we're at are all really important to us, and we feel that we've done some soul searching in order to be able to start understanding ourselves a little better. And so we just want to share what has worked for us so far in hopes that it might resonate with some people. But go ahead and Candido, introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What's your kind of mission on this journey for you? Why be on the podcast?
Sure, yeah. So, hi, my name's Candido Torres. I am a local makeup artist in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm also kind of like a model as well. The reason why I wanted to be on the podcast mainly was because I wanted to share my story and kind of inspire other people and show them that you can still be a successful individual despite the status quo not really wanting you to be successful. I am plus size, and I didn't grow up plus size. I actually grew up very skinny, but even then, even when I was like 150 pounds and like super skinny, I always felt like not fat shamed, but definitely like discriminated against because like I had a very, I guess, skinny oriented mother, unfortunately, who wanted me to eat like very small portions of food and like was very adamant that I didn't eat more than like one chocolate bar a day, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And like, so like I didn't necessarily grow up with like an eating disorder, but I definitely had like
That
issues,
influence, for
right?
sure.
Issues with like food. And so like when I moved out of my family's house, I just ballooned, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so like, cause I didn't really have like actual genuine like lesson learned about how to manage my intake of food. It was just like,
You think that's because maybe you always had somebody else doing it for you, like your mom?
right, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I've always wanted to model. I've always wanted to be a model, and I've always wanted to work in that industry. But the issue with being a model is that, like, traditionally, you're supposed to be very skinny,
Right, that's
very,
exactly what I was gonna
very
say.
skinty legend, and I was just not that. You know, I was just very much like thick. You know
Right.
what I'm
But
saying?
one thing that I really admire about you, and I've known Candido for maybe like a year now. So, yeah, it's been like a year, right?
Yeah,
So I've known you
year
for
and a
like a
half.
year now. One thing that like straight off the bat, from the day that I met you to the day now, is you just are so confident about yourself. And maybe you have more to share on that, on how much you actually feel confident about yourself. But from an outside perspective, you seem just incredibly confident. You're always putting yourself out there. And it's something that is super admirable that I wish other people could just like, I wish you could put that into a bottle and sell it and give it to other people.
Yeah.
Because there's so many other people who I see, and everybody really is beautiful in their own way, but they don't see it. Right?
Right.
And so for you, one thing I see is that you have that confidence, and I really would like to pick your brain in understanding how are you so comfortable with yourself, right? It seems simple, but a lot of people just aren't.
No, yeah, it's definitely a lot of work that went into it. I honestly like wasn't really that confident in myself until probably like 6 months ago.
Okay.
Like when you first
So
met
it's fairly
me,
new, so
yeah,
so
like,
that
this
it was
is
a
a new
facade,
thing.
what I was seeing at the beginning.
Not necessarily a facade. I think it was just because like I was so excited to be in modeling that I was able to let my guard down and like just kind of like be happy with what I was doing.
Yeah.
But like it really took a lot of soul searching during that time period to actually like be genuine about me being like confident in myself.
Okay.
And like I had a couple of friends who weren't in the modeling industry who like also were able to teach me how to be confident, you know, and to show me like, you know, it's great that you're doing modeling, but like you need to really find that within yourself. Like if you didn't have modeling, if you didn't have makeup artistry, you just need to just like be yourself and just like go at it, you
And be
know?
comfortable. So what would you say, because you mentioned you had friends who helped you with that, what would you say was one of like the biggest, either that came from your own experience or from somebody else, was the biggest piece of advice that you got that actually started making you feel comfortable with yourself?
You know, I don't really remember any advice specifically, but I think it was just the actions that they showed me, I think. Just like allowing me to make mistakes, but to also like allow me to have victories. You know,
Okay.
so whenever I did something really cool, like with my makeup, because when I was starting off with makeup, they allowed me to like do that. When I did something really well, like blended out an eyeshadow really well, like they would let me have that victory.
Gotcha.
You know,
It was
whereas
celebrated.
if I needed to be like called out for, they'd be like, Candido, like you can't do that. You
Okay,
know?
so having people who were honest with you.
Yes,
Is kind of what it
absolutely.
sounds like.
Yeah.
And they were honest about when you had victories, but also honest when you needed to improve on something.
Yeah.
Which is really important because some people are not honest with people, and it's really, you can feel it. You can feel when somebody's giving you a compliment that isn't 100% real. And so it doesn't add any real confidence, but it sounds like for you, they were giving you these compliments that you felt were genuine, and you were like, oh wow, I am improving on this, or I'm doing well on this, I can continue to keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much it. Because I feel like when I was younger and like in high school, I didn't really have people that were like genuine about their compliments. Unfortunately, like I was very much that type of kid who like just didn't really get a lot of that.
Gotcha.
So like when I left high school, I needed someone to just basically tell me like you're doing something right.
Yeah.
You know, and that basically put me on the right path. So now like when I'm doing like something on my own, I can tell like, oh, am I doing this right or am I doing this wrong?
Gotcha.
And that kind of like, I don't know. And I honestly think that my confidence really just comes from within as well. Like there's not really much of an outside source. It's just like I just kind of find it within myself to just put it out there and just show people what the hell is up, you know?
Yeah, what the hell is up? Love it. So going on compliments, and that's one thing about that I find interesting about people, like in our social dynamics as animals, is that we are so hesitant to compliment other people. Like, I mean, I feel like you and I could probably see somebody's like really nice shoes or the way that they're makeup that day, and I will
compliment them.
Yeah, I will too. I will literally like be at a coffee shop, and if my cashier, his makeup is just looking perfect, I will tell them like, hey, your makeup looks really good. Not in a I'm trying to hit on you way, not in anything like that. It's just like I recognize the work that you did. I want to compliment you on it.
Right.
Because people are so hesitant to, and I think that out of every 10 people, I think that if 10 people like something about someone, 2 of them will actually tell them, and the other 8 will just stay quiet. Either they're too shy or I don't know what it is, but they're not willing to actually express those compliments.
Yeah.
And it sucks because those compliments go a long way. But if 10 people don't like it, I feel like 8 of those people are willing to say something about it.
Yeah.
When people don't like something, they're so, especially online, right? When it can be anonymous, when people don't like something, they're so quick to say, I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big confidence killer that just really kills it for people, where they start to put themselves out there, right? And when they do, they get that backlash, and it's just like, I don't want to feel that again.
Right.
So I'm going to go away.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, I feel like, unfortunately, in this world, there's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of envy.
For sure.
And when someone's able to just kind of put themselves out there and just be themselves, a lot of people are not going to see that as a honorable thing or like a good thing, I guess.
Yeah.
They're just going to react in a negative way.
Yeah.
And I think I'm trying to definitely like show people that you don't have to be enviable to show people love. You can just appreciate it. Or sometimes, like, if I see someone with an amazing ass eyeshadow that I can never do in a million years, I just be like, okay, swipe. Like, I don't want to think about it because, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be jealous. I just want to just be like, you know what? One day I'll be there, but like for right now, I'm just gonna focus on my own lane. You know?
Yeah. No, I got you, and I feel the same way. Well, first off, so jealousy and envy. Like, jealous is somebody, you're afraid that somebody's going to take away what you already have. So I agree with you on the envy part, which is you see something that you want that somebody else has.
Right.
Right. So like for me, one of the things that I have to remind myself to not compare to, because comparison is a thief of joy. Right. So like you see somebody who's doing this amazing job and you don't feel like you can get there anytime soon. So if you let that hit you the wrong way, it takes away your joy.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, look at that amazing eyeshadow that they can do that I can't do. I'm trash.
And that was something that I dealt with for a long time, actually.
Yeah.
For a long time. I was just comparing myself to a lot of people. And, like, recently I've had to block, like, easily 20 people because I was just getting sick and tired of, like, being jealous. And being, like, and comparing myself to them. Because, like, ultimately, like, unless I make, like, a huge lifestyle change, I'm never going to be like those people. Like, there's a lot of, like, I don't want to call out names, but, like, there's, like, a lot of YouTubers that are, like, growing right now that are, like, basically in the fitness industry. And, like, you know, they always talk about having good genes and, like, having X, Y, and Z to reach their goals.
Yeah.
But, like, because I don't necessarily put in the same amount of effort that they do to reach those goals, I can't compare myself. Because I know my journey, and I know that, like, the way that I want to lose weight to, like, for health reasons, like, it's going to be way different from them. Because, like, for me, I'm not focusing on aesthetics. I'm focusing on just losing weight and just being happy. Gotcha. Whereas they literally do, like, full-blown, like,
that's their whole
targeted,
life.
Yeah, right, like, that's their whole thing. So, like...
And that's the thing about envy is, like, recognizing that you can turn it into motivation. It's like, I see something that you have that you also... I see you work very hard for it, right? If it's a factor that I can control, then I can understand that, like, oh, if I work hard enough, I can also get there.
Right.
Right? But so is that, like, turning that envy into instead of motivation. Whereas, like, if I really, truly wanted that also, then I can work hard for it. But if also is like, well, that's really great for you, but it's not something that I necessarily really want deep within my heart, then I can just be happy for you.
Right.
It's like, but I do feel you because as far as the fitness industry goes, like I'm somebody who's always been skinny, right? And so like recently I've been a little bit more dedicated to my fitness journey and everything, but I do see the guys who are just like shredded.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's crazy. And the like negative part of me wants to automatically go to like shortcuts. Is like, oh, they're taking steroids or they have good genes or things like that. Right, but then I have to remind myself and kind of bring myself back into focus. Is like, no, they've probably been training for like 5+ years.
But they probably have also been taking steroids.
We don't know. No.
Like, I mean,
No,
let's be real. Let's be real. They all said they're nutty. Like, oh, I'm nutty.
But then there's some people who are very open about it. It's like, yeah, I am a steroid.
That's true.
And so it's like you even give them more respect because thank you for your honesty first out. But it's also like that there are people who they've been training for 10+ years.
Yeah.
And it's like to get there naturally, then without the side effects, is like I have to recognize that it's going to take me 10+ years. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like if I really want that, then I just have to be motivated by that rather than envious because then it's like, well, hey, you're not happy for people and I really have no room for hate in my heart. And it's like, instead I'm just going to try to take advice from them, try to understand what are they doing that I can do too, if that's what I want. Right. I'm not necessarily trying to get super shredded or anything like that. I just like to be healthy. That's also where I can be like, well, it's not something that's for me, but like good for you.
Right. Yeah, and like one way that relates to like makeup artistry in a way is that like when I first started, I could barely blend out my foundation. Like I
showed me the picture.
I showed him a picture of me. Like, no, it was horrible. But like
it was horrible.
But like, yeah. So
I used to learn it was the best that you could do at that time.
Absolutely, and like, but back then when I could barely blend out foundation, like I used to watch like Jeffree Star, James Charles, like a lot of leading makeup industry like people, and I'd be like, oh my god, like I cannot believe I cannot do that. And now I look back because now I can achieve those looks. Now I know how to like blend and I know how to like make everything look so cohesive. And I'm just like, if I had just like given that time of me being upset that I couldn't reach that goal to just actually reaching that goal, I would have reached it a lot sooner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that like if you genuinely feel like you can achieve something, instead of like putting that energy into like worrying about not achieving it, just literally pivot it and just achieve it.
Because that's totally right. Because people have the energy, right? And it's like the energy. If you put it into feeling bad for yourself and feeling like, oh, I can never do that, and oh, how I'd love to have that, then you're using all the same energy you could be putting into actually practicing towards just feeling bad for yourself, and now you're stuck. And 3 months later, you've done nothing but like complain about it.
Right. Exactly. That's literally it. Because like that's what I used to do. Like I would complain about it and not necessarily put any good energy into improving.
Right.
And then I'd look back like maybe a month or two later and I'd be like, damn, like I'm still in the same place and I could have just improved. Like,
Facts,
you know?
Facts. So that kind of tangents into the second topic, which is rejection. So like, okay, so you've decided like I'm going to start actually practicing on it and I'm going to put myself out there. And it's a guarantee anybody who puts itself out there you're going to get rejected. It doesn't matter what field that you are talking about, whether it's business, whether it's arts, whether it's relationships, whatever it is, you're going to get rejected.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in these last few years that you've been practicing, I imagine that there's times where you've done looks and it doesn't get the engagement that you want or it doesn't get the approval that you want from certain people. How do you deal with that rejection?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, like, if you look at my Instagram, it's just not really popping. Like, I get, like, maybe 40 likes per post, but I feel like the caliber of makeup that I'm posting is relatively high quality for especially a beginner almost.
Yeah,
like, in comparison to, like, other people who've been posting for almost a decade now, I feel like I honestly, like, deserve high engagement, but there is a point to be made of that's just a part of your journey. You know, like there's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be moments where you get a lot of engagement and a lot of people recognizing your work. And then there's going to be moments where it's going to be crickets.
Right.
Like, for example, in November, I posted, like, it was literally just on a whim. I posted a picture of me with, like, a nice, like, glowy makeup.
Okay.
And I posted
Was it the Christmas one or?
No, it was just, like, very neutral, like, normal, like, just, like, a nice makeup moment.
For sure.
And Charlotte Tilbury reached out and gave me, like, a free shop of their, like, newest products.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was just, like, you know, but now, like, I post some makeup products, or I post, like, some makeup looks, and nobody's, like, really tuning in, which no big deal, you know, because like I said, it's going to be ebbs and flows.
Exactly, and you did mention one thing that resonated is there's people who have been doing it for 10 plus years who are doing the same look, if not a less quality look, but they get so much more engagement, right? But I think the thing about that a lot of people who are on the beginning of their journey forget is that those, exactly what you said, they've been posting for 10 plus years.
Right.
Right?
They've been doing it for so long.
They've amassed a following, they've made connections, they have their dedicated fan base who want to see their looks. And it doesn't even matter if it's good or bad. It's like Jeffree Star did it. So right. Jeffree Star did
and
it.
And it's and also like a big thing about it is personality.
Yeah.
Like if people don't really resonate with your personality, then you know, I don't know if what that says for me, but like I feel like I show my personality a lot, but at the same time, like I understand that this is a journey that I have to take. I can't expect to go viral, and also I don't even really want to go viral. I want to actually build a following. I want to actually build a committed fan base that actually cares about what I'm doing.
Which takes time.
Right, exactly.
Because there's a saying, and essentially goes, you know, as quickly as something goes up, it goes down.
Right.
And so it's like even for the guys at the gym taking the steroids, as quickly as they get buff, once they stop that, it's also like the detrimental effect going backwards is bad. Whereas if you do the slow, if you do the slow build up, then all you have to do is maintain at that point, right? And for yourself, like, and the followings and everything, and I'm working on gaining a following as well, is like, yeah, I could go viral. And I just saw this stupid video, like, I don't like that word stupid, but I just saw this stupid video. It was stupid, honestly, of this guy at the Dua Lipa concert where he got like an angle. You know what? A white t-shirt guy. Huh?
Dua Lipa?
Okay, so first off, I'm like, how is this, like, I mean, I get how that went viral.
Wait, what did he do? Sorry.
His name is the white t-shirt guy. And
he wears white t-shirts?
He just had a white t-shirt that day. But he was taking a video at Dua Lipa's concert. He was at the front, and she does this thing, very sexy, where she's like moving her legs back and forth. But if you're from a different angle, which is the angle he was at, then so basically he was like recording her from the back. So it's like, it went viral.
No.
Went viral. He got a lot of attention on that one video. And then on the next video, you can see him trying to like engage with his followers and everything and thinking like, what concert will I go to next? And I don't think with any malintent, right?
But it didn't get anything.
But people were like, in the comments, people were like, what are you doing, dude? Like, or you're kind of a creep, and like, why are you so proud of this moment? And so like in that same way that he shot up, he was shot right back down.
So he's like irrelevant now.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about him because it's a good example, but aside from that, like, he's not going to be a person who's actually, I mean, who knows? Maybe he ends up going into a different realm.
Probably.
But chances are that he's not going to continue to go past that. So point being, anyway, kind of went on a tangent there. Point being that as quickly as something goes up, it goes down, right? And so getting that fan base slowly, but like being dedicated to your fan base is definitely something that's super important in building. But it takes patience and it takes a lot of rejection.
Yeah.
One thing for rejection that like I heard that I keep in mind is like anytime you're rejected, it's just one step closer to something or somebody or an opportunity that's actually interested.
Yeah.
Right. So like it's like, okay, this person or this agency or whatever rejected it. Well, I'm gonna go. As long as you continue trying again, right? Because that's the key. Is like you have to continue trying. I'm gonna go try somewhere else. And they rejected it, I'm gonna go try somewhere else. And it's just one step closer in destiny, if that's what you want to call it, for that seventh interest that you have to actually shoot your shot at for it to actually, get that opportunity. So that's what I keep in mind when it comes to rejection and just kind of keep trying.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I did like 2 castings, like digital castings, and I didn't hear anything back. Well, I did one for Sae Beauty because they're doing like a huge like Christmas or like, I don't know, something related to a big like sale. And I thought it'd be really cool because they even had like a whole questionnaire about like why you wanted to be a part of their production.
Okay.
And I was like, well, because I want to show people like you can be someone like me and still be successful. And I don't know if they really went with me because they didn't send me any emails, but but it's okay because I understand that like I gave them like some of my headshots that were not necessarily the best. So like maybe they just saw that and were just like, that's a learning thing, right? Like you just learn like, okay, maybe next time I need to like have like better headshots prepared.
See, and that's so important that you already have that mindset, because it took me a while to learn that like every rejection is actually a piece of information on how you can improve.
Exactly.
Right? If you get it rejected, why did you get rejected? And is it a factor you can control? Because sometimes it's not factors you can control. Like people, if you need I don't know, let's say a white model. Well, obviously I'm not gonna. So that's a factor I can't control.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, your headshots could have been better. It's like, okay, in what ways could it have been better so that I can improve on that? Mm-hmm. So I think that's also really good. Something good to keep in mind when being rejected. How to make that positive out of that negative.
Right. Period.
Sure.
Well, we just spilled the coffee, which is going to be my podcast.
I do have one more thing I want to talk about, which is actually what you wanted to talk about. Well, edit that out. Marketing yourself to the right people.
Yes.
Right. I think that's so important. Talk to me about what that means to you.
So, marketing. I just touched the microphone.
That's it.
Okay. Wait. Let me start over. Marketing.
Yeah, so marketing yourself to the right people. Like, what does that statement mean to you and your journey and just life in general?
Yeah, so I've always felt like very separated from the world in general.
Okay.
I don't know if it was because of my ADHD. I don't know if it was because, I grew up very socially ineptitude. I'm what's the word?
Socially inept?
Socially inept, but neurodivergent.
What does that mean?
So neurodivergent is in specific to people who have learning disabilities.
Okay.
So like autism, ADHD, ADD, stuff like that, because your brain is wired in a different way from like maybe you, because like your brain is like normal, correct?
I hope so. I hope not sometimes.
Your brain would be considered neurotypical. Okay. But to be fair, I'm not
like a... typical?
T.
Wow.
To be fair, I'm not like a neuroscientist, but that's just what I've heard from like people. But like that's like the whole idea.
Right.
It could be incorrect. We'll talk about that later. But basically, I'm neurodivergent, and so like I've always felt like very separated from like normal people. Gotcha. And so like growing up, I had to really like look for the right friends. And even like in early like high school, I only had 2 best friends because they were the only ones that really like understood where I was coming from and like my personality and stuff like that.
For sure.
And so I feel like in this journey of me trying to grow in social media and makeup artistry and modeling, I've had to really learn how to hone in on like who's gonna actually resonate with my content.
Right.
Who's gonna actually want to like see what I'm doing and actually enjoy it.
Right.
And I feel like recently I've started to be getting better at like being more broad because I'm like my social ineptitude is improving. Like I'm not as socially inept as I was like 4 years ago.
Okay.
But like
it's just so weird for me to hear because like off the bat you were very friendly. You're very friendly to a lot of people. A lot of people seem to get along with you. So
I mean, I've learned how to like mask it.
Gotcha.
My parents were very much like anti-medicine, anti-Adderall, anti-anything because like they realized that like I was already kind of higher functioning than regular people with ADHD and just in general.
Okay.
So they knew that like they could at least try their best to like get me to learn how to mask those ineptitudes.
Okay.
And that's why I'm able to just do my thing and like be normal. But on the inside, like I definitely like it's like a lot of work to have to actually like do it.
You almost have to like decompress after a social outing.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
I consider myself a introverted extrovert just because like I can be an extrovert. I'm very crazy. I'm very out there. I'm you know this. But like when I get home, it's like lights off. Like I'm very much like silent. I don't talk. I just watch YouTube videos and I just like do my thing, you know?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So yeah, I just like because of that, I've had to really focus in on like who wants to like watch my content and like also just like be myself, you know, like because that actually like weeds out the people that don't really care about my content, you know, because if you see my TikTok, it's weird. Like I just talk about the most random shit.
And looks like Candy, or are you talking about a different?
It's my spam account.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to
haven't ran into that one yet.
I don't want to say it just because it's more of a personal one. But if you do find it, it's whatever. Especially to the audience at home. But yeah, Luke's My Candy is my makeup TikTok. Go follow her. But yeah, my spam account, I just literally do random shit. I did this one trend where there's like TikTok trend where basically it's like a Christmas themed like advertisement. Okay. But it's like really stupid because like at the beginning it'll be like, ooh, got your clit. And it'd be
Gotcha.
And it'd be like something really stupid. That was really loud, I'm sorry.
People looking over like
they're like, what are you guys talking about?
What kind of podcast is this?
But it'd be like something stupid like that, you know? So it's like, just like, it's a good way to just weed out the competition and just show who like actually likes me. So yeah.
No, and that's a really good point is like in being yourself, you will just automatically, I hadn't thought about it like that, is like people who are not for your content will just go away on their own.
Exactly.
And it's so easy on Instagram and stuff because it's just, unfollow and that's it. And that's actually kind of doing you a favor.
That's really frustrating though when it comes to Instagram because like I've had people that follow me that like my content, but then when they actually see my actual personality and like get to know me slightly better, they're just like, oh, you're weird, unfollow.
So
and it's like you need to like look at the content first before following.
Well, it's so different. So like it's called personas, but we can talk about it at a different time.
The Persona the game? I love that game.
Not the game.
But I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up. All in all, tell me just what advice would you give to the person that you were 2 years ago starting your journey on makeup, modeling, Instagram? Just what advice would you give yourself? Since we're not big on giving other people advice because something works for everybody differently, what would you, looking back, advice based on what we talked about today, give yourself 2 years back?
Don't overthink it. Don't overthink things. Just be yourself. Be okay with the place that you're in right now because it's just going to get better and better. You're going to have some roadblocks. You're going to meet some people that are not for you and are going to probably try to ruin you. But don't let that stop you. Just keep going forward. Just keep doing what you think is best. And ultimately, it's just going to work out just fine. Don't rush into things. Don't be selfish. Be courteous and be kind because that's what's going to get you further rather than being a jerk because I've been a jerk a couple of times to a few people that I care about. And so I think just being respectful for the people that actually want you to succeed in life is going to get you to where you want to be.
Gotcha. I like that a lot. Would you give that same advice to yourself now?
I think now I would say be selfish.
Okay.
Be more for you. Because when I was living with my family 2 years ago, I was being a jerk to them. I was rude and I was being very understanding of like their life, I think, and I wasn't able to just live with them. I had to kind of like live separately from them, which was like a detriment, Yeah. But now because I'm like on my own and like I don't live with anybody else, I need to be more selfish. I need
single.
to be exactly the bachelor life. I need to be for myself. I need to just stand up for myself and like do what I think is right because I'm trying to elevate. I'm not trying to get on anybody's level, I'm trying to say.
For sure.
So yeah.
Okay. All right, well thank you. Cheers.
Oh, cheers. Thank you. Her.